Good evening. Welcome to Wonderfully Whole Conversations. This is a platform where we highlight men and women in the health and wellness space who are impacting their generation and generations to come by who they are, their expertise, and their message. I am really excited tonight and I am honored to sit down with Dr. Lisa Singletary. She's a beautiful individual with a heart of gold. Her passion is to see individuals well and whole. And she's a genius in breaking down health terminologies into delightful morsels so that average person could understand and implement and make adjustments and changes to their lifestyle. Welcome, Dr. Lisa.
Thank you
Tonight,
so
the
much,
topic
Coach.
of you're welcome. Tonight, the topic of our discussion is from excuses to empowerment. Why your future depends on your actions today. And we are targeting, we are reaching out to women 40 over because women 40 and over some are struggling to prioritize their health. Many are juggling responsibilities of taking care of family, career, ministry, their community, and they find it hard to prioritize their health. So tonight we want to look at the excuses. Some of the excuses I do not have, but that is costly. Health issues will take time later if we don't address them now. Some say, oh, I don't know where to start. My God. Or it's too late for me. Or it is so expensive. So we want to move from these excuses to how we could empower you. And this is how we're going to speak with Dr. Lisa tonight. And what I would like you to do as we go deep into this conversation, I want you to put in the comment, what is your biggest health challenge right now? Okay. I see people coming on YouTube. Hi, everybody. Now, before we go into the discussion itself, I want to read Dr. Lisa's bio, and it is exciting. Okay. Dr. Lisa Singletary is a medical doctor, a certified holistic health and wellness coach. She received her medical degree from Howard University College of Medicine, a family practice residency at the University of Maryland Medical Systems, and a master's degree in public health from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. She's also a business mentor, leadership trainer, international speaker, nutrition Jedi, an award-winning network marketer, and a Bible student. I love that. She educates and inspires health-conscious and business-minded individuals to attain the skill sets, mindset, and leadership development they need to achieve their goals and dreams. She also helps awaken individuals to navigate through the often conflicting and sometimes confusing advice they encounter in their search for information about health and wellness. I love this. She simplifies the jargon and becomes their trusted health navigator. Her first international wellness project was serving as a co-host and health and wellness content creator for a weekly program with over 400 episodes. Now she has her own show every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. The show is called Total Transformation Secrets Live Zoom. In addition to her brilliance, this Dr. Lisa is so humble and I love her. In addition to her brilliance, she's a balanced individual. She has a passion for the science and art of food that began in her grandmother's kitchen. She loved gadgets and gizmos and mastering the art of pressure cooking. She loves international travel, taking road trips, studying the Word of God, and watching Bible prophecy unfold in daily headlines. She finds it a privilege when she's able to touch people's lives and leave them in a better place interacted with her. Dr. Lisa, I am excited. People are, I'm just going to, someone get challenged, blood pressure, a limiting screen time. So we want to delve into this to help women 40 and over to take care of their bodies because we know that the body is the temple of God. And I like to say it's earth suit. Without our earth suit, we can't be here. We cannot fulfill our assignments. So if we are so spiritual that we cannot take the time to steward and take care of this body, we we would not be effective. And I want to say this here because I lost a very good friend, years ago, maybe about 12 years ago, and very spiritual woman, only in her 50s, but blood pressure and all different issues. She died before her time. And I really, as a coach, that really propels me to reach many before they die, for a health crisis would come up that they have to take so much time out of their busy schedule and take care of it. So Dr. Lisa, now I want you to talk a little bit about what happens inside our body when we do not take action.
Oh, well, first of all, Coach Judy, it is such an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And a shout out to Sarita. I don't know if she's here or not. Oh, I think she has a Bible study. But to Sarita for putting us together. And
Yes,
um, I just am so privileged. And I thank you to all of my friends, my family who are in the chat. Shout out to, wait, I have to go back, to
yes,
Karen, to Joan from Pennsylvania, Karen from Atlanta, Joanne from Baltimore, uh, Tony from Florida, um, and I can't see on the Facebook side, so we could even have more people over there.
yes,
So thank you everyone for coming and joining into the conversation. Uh, you know, I remember when I was invincible. It wasn't that long ago, but certain things happen in our bodies as we age. A lot of it has to do with hormone changes, hormonal changes. And we talk about menopause, but menopause is huge. Although, and this is something that I read a book a long time ago about menopause, and the subtitle was "The Silent." Coach Rod, thank you. I did ask some of my men to come and support. Thank you so much. Um, that. menopause was a silent passage. That was the subtitle of the book. And at that time, it wasn't my passage. But I asked my mother about it, and and I asked her about her mother, and it wasn't something they talked about,
Yes.
and and she didn't really talk, even though I was a physician, she didn't really talk to me about it. And when it started to happen to me, I was like, oh, I'm glad I read that book because this knowledge wasn't passed down to me. What I found later, however, was the the passage, the change of life of menopause does not just affect your ovaries and fallopian tubes, and it's not just a reproductive. Karen said menopause does not play. That's right. Woo! But it does not just affect the reproductive system. It affects every system in the body. And even long after uh, the change, again, has taken place, long after there's no more cycle, these hormones are still fluctuating and still causing changes in our body. And they are affecting our uh, health, our well being, our life expectancy, our disease, our risk for disease, for cardiovascular disease, for thyroid disease, so many different things. And I gave a talk once to some, this was again decades ago, long before these issues were my own. And I walked into a room of women, and hey, Irene, Jersey girl. Well, she's Delaware girl too, but she'll always be a Jersey girl. Thank you for joining us. I walked into this room of mature women, and just looking around the room, I could tell who was, at that time, I thought were having issues with menopause. You could see it in their faces and their demeanors, and. But what I have come to discover later is that they were minerally deficient. And I
Mm,
came to wonder, what if the key to helping people through this passage is nutrition? And I kept my ear to the ground. I've been learning more and more about it. But I think it's just amazing that we have so many options and we have so much knowledge, but so many women choose not to do anything about it. And I think one of the things that maybe we could do some benefit today is to talk about the mindset, because we
yes.
know the statistics,
Yes.
right? But and we know we're busy. We know we've got all of these stresses and pressures, and we're taking care of the older generation, we're taking care of the younger generation, we're taking care of the men, we're taking care. Hey, Coach Rod.
That's
Oh, that
true.
is true. When women go through menopause, men have to deal with it too. Ah, oh, what was it? I was at a pastor's conference once, and the women were supposed to be in another room, but uh, the I don't know. I had a reason for being in the auditorium with the men, and the pastor on stage was talking about values, and he was talking about how the relationship can go through valleys, and he's talked about the valley of finances, the valleys of depression, the valley, and then he's, he was like, and then there's the valley of hormonal fluctuations, and the whole audience, oh, they were all men, right? Oh, they erupted. So, Coach Rod, you are exactly right. We're in this thing together. So, um, I just want to really explore the reluctance to change. And I thought about myself, um, and I can remember many fears that I had. And I mean, I've been overweight and into obesity my entire life. I remember being on a diet when I was 6, you know, and
Wow.
I've been through Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, Jenny Craig, all the, you think the Mayo diet. I can't even say all the diets that I've been on. And something with it just they would work for a little while, but then they didn't stick. And I thought, what is blocking me? Why is it that I can't overcome this? And it just so happened for me that I found at a very difficult part of my life nutrition, hydration, detoxification, the natural approaches. And I remember thinking about my grandparents. You mentioned my grandmother in in the biography. Because my grandfather used to go into the woods and get leaves and barks and roots and come up to the house. And my grandmother would make the poultices and the teas, and people would come. Oh, Alice is here, my second mother. Can you believe my? She was my babysitter, and she looks younger than me. So thank you so much for joining us. So you remember Mama Hope, Daddy Hope, and people from the neighborhood would come and get the poultices and bring a chicken or bring a bushel of corn or whatever and all of that was educated out of me. But thankfully, I have now, much later after full career, found the power of nutrition and hydration, detoxification, avoiding gluten, and these things my mom kind of told me growing up, right? A lot of common sense
That
things.
we,
She told
we take for granted.
me
That we take for granted.
that we take for
The
granted.
good stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I still, thank you, Alex. I still was trapped. I was trapped in this yo-yo, up and down, that I couldn't break through. And a lot of it was emotional. I know I had a fear of change. Like, who would I be if I really dropped all this weight? Because that was, uh, I don't know how many people this is true for, but I know that for me, the weight was a protection.
Hmm?
Um, and I guess I wondered if I lost weight and still had the experiences of rejection, what would what would happen? 'Cause I could blame everything on the weight, you know. And when I grew up, my dad, he said to me, he gave me compliments like, "Oh, you look so beautiful from the neck up." That didn't help, right? He called himself motivating me to lose weight, but it didn't motivate me. And then he told me that I would never be successful. I would never be happy, never find love, never, he had this whole list of nevers. until I lost weight. And I know that there was something in my mind that wanted to prove him wrong, but it was to my own hurt. So there was a whole lot of baggage that I was dealing with my weight. And then the excuses piled on as I got big, um, as I got busier and busier in my career. So
Dr. Lisa, Dr.
breakthrough
Lisa, I
for
think,
me. I'm here. We're
yeah,
back.
yeah, there was a pause. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it too. So, that I know that for me, fear was a big uh, issue, but I know other people have other issues. Um, and you touched on one that's really huge, which was the cost. Because right now, our medical system doesn't pay for prevention,
It's-
but you, what is the cost if we don't make these changes?
yes.
And the benefit if we do, right? What is the break? What is the blockage? We want to bring a breakthrough. And
Yes,
Coach
because
Judy,
yes,
you
yeah,
inspire me
because
because you make that breakthrough and you share that breakthrough with so many people. So I want to bounce it back to you.
yes, because it's like prevention, being proactive on our wellness journey, on our health journey. It only affect us. Yes, we benefit, but if we don't take care of ourselves, how could we take care of other people?
Mm,
And we have to stop and think about these things. First of all, and something that we discuss, especially Christian people, okay? Because I work with Christian women to help them bridge their their uh, the supernatural with the natural.
oh wow, yeah.
They are yeah, they're very good in they praying. They would not miss the prayer time, but yet the Holy Spirit lives within this body, and we destroy the body by the things that we put in it
Hmm.
with processed foods, ultra processed foods, lack of exercise, all these things. And our body is wonderfully, it says in Psalm 139, that 14, that we are wonderfully and fearfully made. And when we see how God put this body together, and then as believers, he placed his Holy Spirit within us, and we neglect the body. How could we, fulfill our purpose, fulfill our assignment? So we're coming back to prevention, and it's something that I always. It might be way out there. We have the gifts. We have the gifts of the Holy Spirit, and even when I do workshops, I'm saying, Lord, I want to be able to have even the knowledge to tell some people what's happening in their body. If something, a crisis is going to happen, we should be able to pick it up in the spirit. But if we don't pick it up in the spirit, there's so many things we could do. Would you agree,
Absolutely.
Dr. Lisa?
Absolutely. I think about that story of the um, the flood and the
Yes.
man saying, I'll get out of the flood, Lord, get me out. And so the police come by, a boat comes by, he's up on the roof, a helicopter comes by, And he said, no, no,
Yes.
no, no, no. Every time I'm cutting it short, but he refuses
Mm-hmm.
all the earthly help because he said you know, the Lord will save me. And he dies, goes to heaven, and he's like, why didn't you save me? And the Lord said, well, I sent a car and a boat and a helicopter. What more did you want? And the point is, we can be, you've heard this phrase, I know, too heavenly minded to be any
Yeah.
earthly good. And we think about that as far as external things, but that can be true internally. And I know that I have nothing but admiration for people of great faith, but there's nothing wrong with helping the faith along with some practical uh,
Yes.
support. You eat, right? You eat because your body needs energy. Well, your body needs other things too. Your body needs
Yes.
minerals and vitamins, amino acids, enzymes to turn the food that we eat into energy that we can use. And if we have those, if we're missing, if our metabolism is missing these vital components, then that energy might become just stored in our fat cells and not available for our bodies to use or not readily available. So, um, and people, there are just so many stories, Coach Judy, of
Yeah.
people who will maybe try something for a while. They'll try a gym membership for a while, or they'll try to eat right for a while, or even try supplements for a while. I had a client who um, I hesitate to tell this story because um, because I don't diagnose. I don't do medical diagnoses. I don't do any prescribing. Um, but I had a customer that had a brain tumor, and someone referred him to us, and we started him on a natural program, and he got better. He changed his diet, started getting exercise, etc., and the CT scans and MRIs showed that the tumor was regressing. And he proceeded to celebrate with oatmeal raisin cookies.
Oh
And
no.
that just snowballed into, you know, going back. And he started having more symptoms and, more spread. And one more time, he came back to the healthy lifestyle and the supplements and uh, definitely prayer was part of it. And it slowed down or shrank again. And then again, he celebrated with sugary, gluteny food. And it was, you know, it was sad. It was very sad. So um, there's just so
It
much. I mean,
reminds me, yeah, it reminds me, Dr. Lisa, when the Lord healed someone, he said, go and sin no more.
ah,
And
good one.
you know, and he sinned against the body when we put in all this sugar. Sugar is such an addiction in this country. Everything has your ketchup. We only, as you know, we only supposed to have about 20 to 25 milligrams of sugar. But in the cereal, a quarter cup of cereal, people are eating 18 grams of sugar, you know, and it's terrible. And that testimony that you just shared is a beautiful, I don't want to say beautiful testimony. It's a testimony that people could learn a lot from.
Yeah. The verse I'm thinking of is be not weary in well doing.
Yes.
Like, right? Because this isn't something, it's like gravity. Okay. We can't shake
Yes.
gravity, right? We can't
Yes.
shake pollution. We can't shake
Mm-hmm.
electromagnetic overwhelm. And it's very
Yes.
difficult to shake some of the chemicals in the food and so in the water. So we're
Yes.
inundated with things that affect our bodies. So we have to be on the offensive, not just the defensive.
Yes. And there's so many practical ways that we could do, and it's just simple. Like in my coaching business, and when I tell people they're just as you do your five principles, I
Mhm.
tell people there's just five things to do. You know, we start meditation because the meditation is big. We live by the word of God. And as you mentioned, hydration. Our body is over 70% of water. So we want to hydrate. Then we go to something nutritious before we even have our breakfast. I believe in juicing. I have a juice bar. Okay. So we focus on very purposeful to get something nutritious in our body even before we have breakfast. Then we exercise and then we rest. Just simple.
Beautiful, beautiful. And my five are mindset, micronutrients, macronutrients,
Beautiful.
motion, and measurement. So staying on top of it. And Coach
Yes.
Karen, I mean, CPO Karen, Chief Program Officer Karen Allen said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And think about
Yes.
it, you could spend the time, let's say in the gym, spend the money on the supplements or on the coaching, and they are investments in your health.
Yeah.
Or on the back end, you can spend all of that time and money on medical treatments and going to appointments, going to for uh,
Yes.
you know how they are. I don't even have to delineate them.
Yes.
And
And
it's
Dr.
a real
Lisa,
thing. Yes.
I want you to go back to your health journey, how you lost
Mm,
that 100 pounds, because I know it's going to bless people who have not heard your testimony, how you lost that weight. Because we touched on it that
yeah.
there's so many diets, there's so many different programs that people are trying and
Yeah.
without excuse. I want you to go back again because there are women who are overweight, there are women who are they're overweight, and some are obese, and
Hmm.
they do not even know that they are obese, which put them in danger for heart disease, and a lot of diseases like cancer, everything like that. So I want you to go back to your journey because I believe that is going to help many people to face the challenge they have to get rid of that weight.
Okay. So first, I want to say that medical studies show that you only need to lose 5% of your body weight in order to make a huge difference in your health risk.
Yes.
So let's say you are, like me, have hundreds of pounds to lose. Okay. I think my maximum weight was somewhere between 435 and 450. I don't know because I didn't have a scale that went that high, but I knew the trajectory I was on. So and I know when I maxed out the 400-pound scale, I have a good idea that that's the range that I hit. And for most of that time, I felt mobile. I mean, I was mobile and I felt healthy, but I wasn't. And I left my medical practice to take care of my parents. So I lived with them for 8 years and I took care of them. I know I extended their lives, but most of all, I extended their dignity by being there to care for them. But that 8 years was a fight um, with the medical system. Even as a physician, I was not practicing and I was out of my district. You know, I didn't know those doctors down there and they didn't know me. And so it was just like I was a regular person with no credentials at all, even though I had an MD and MPH and all that. And I thought to myself, what do people do that don't have the knowledge that I have and that don't have the understanding that I have, the way to maneuver that I had. And so taking care of them, I started looking for different things and um, I used some natural things with them because I really, number one, had no choice, but I also felt that it was the right thing to do. But by the end of taking care of them, I needed my father's wheelchair just to get around the house. And my dad was 93, my mom was 88 when they passed. So my family lives long and in pain. And I didn't want someone having to do to me or for me what I did for them the last 8 years of their lives. And I cried out to the Lord. I was like, I don't know how long I have. I might live another 30 years, but I can't do it in this body. And he's whispered, why don't you try Holly's minerals? So I had a friend that was talking about vitamins and minerals, and I said, yeah, that's good, that's good. But I ignored her for 2 years. I took the minerals. I called her up. I said, I'm ready to try. And she brought me some good water and she brought me some good minerals and just said, take them. And I did. And 8 months later, I was out of the wheelchair. I had lost 85
8
pounds.
months. Wow.
Uh-huh. And
It,
I didn't realize it, but I was actually over 100 pounds lower than I was at my maximum. So some of that was a little bit of that was just stress, right? Of taking care of my parents. But 85 pounds just went by the wayside. And I didn't do anything. I didn't plan anything. It just changed my relationship to food by taking that nutrition. And I know now it was changing my microbiome. It was changing the gut bacteria. It was changing my cells, and I wasn't having the cravings that I had. And um, even now, if I find myself craving something, I have to think, oh, I haven't taken my minerals yet, or or I need to drink something. You know, I think there's a book called "You're Not Hungry, You're Thirsty," but
Yes.
I learned firsthand the power that it had in my life. So I'm very thankful that, but I needed that to break the cycle for me because I was on a
So,
very bad trajectory.
so Dr. Lisa,
Yes.
being properly nourished
Hmm.
with the right supplements, the nutrients, because we live in a country that is a country of an abundance, but people are malnourished and they're undernourished. So I like
Undernourished
what you,
and
yeah.
overfed.
Could you repeat that, please?
Undernourished and overfed.
Yes.
So the nutrition is not in the food because it's not in the soil the way it used to be. And uh, but our bodies are still saying, you know, I need this vitamin or I need this mineral and I need the, you know, it doesn't say it by name, but it does say it by
Yes.
sending you to the refrigerator, you know, at odd hours of the day or night or after consuming fast food and you're like, well, I just ate. Why am I still hungry? Or, you know, and it's because you're hungry for nutrition. You're not hungry for food. That's a great point, Coach Judy.
You, and you mentioned something about hydration, which is so important.
Hmm.
The book that you, uh, I have the book. Uh, you're not sick, you're thirsty. And this doctor mentioned about people with blood pressure. If they could, some, we're not telling people to get off if you medication, but just drinking enough water, just
Hmm.
drinking good water
I tried it.
will help you.
I had a little, I had a, I was getting little tastes of alternative, we called it alternative medicine, um,
Yes,
when I was in residency and when I was early in my practice. And I tried, and back then we had a little more freedom. So I could write a prescription for a prayer or for a psalm for someone to read like 3 times a day or whatever. I don't know.
yes,
But
yes,
um, I I had the freedom and the nerve to try increasing hydration on a blood pressure patient, say, or a patient that had swelling of their ankles and tell them, well, if you that's your kidneys holding on to water, so if you give yourself more water, then the swelling will go away. And it almost didn't make sense in my brain, but I was trusting some of the studies that I read or some of the people that I, you know, gone to conferences and I heard these strategies and I was like, well, I'm gonna try it. And to my surprise, they would come back and, oh, thank you, doctor. My ankles are so much
yes,
better. And I didn't believe it, but I mean, I was amazed. I was amazed that just doing something natural had so much of an
yes,
impact. And so the reason when I finished taking care of my parents for 8 years, I couldn't go back into a system. I knew I had to learn more about these natural ways of approaching health, not just fighting disease, but
yes.
achieving
Not
health.
the conventional way. And I love uh, what you, the knowledge, the expertise that you have. You're conventionally trained. At the same time, you are into holistic health, and we need that. We need the both. You
Yes.
know, um, is Dr. Andrew Weil, someone
Hmm.
I think it was Andrew Weil, who said,
Mhm.
if I get into an accident, don't take me to the alternative
That's
medicine
right.
person. Take me to the hospital because
Oh,
they were trained to take care of trauma. But right now we are talking to women 40 and over how to be proactive about their health. And I believe this is a missing piece of holistic health, the
yeah.
natural way of doing stuff, the
You just
nutrition.
reminded me of a friend who was in her 40s, and uh, it was during the pandemic. I don't know the whole story, but I do
Mhm.
know that while she was in her hospital bed, she was texting me and saying, "Could you please find a naturopath to come and take care of me?" I said, "No naturopath is going to come to the hospital. It take, you have to have a relationship with them before." And she said,
Yes,
"I'm going to
yes.
die." And I said, "Oh no, but she was right. She is with the Lord right now." And
Oh my.
I can't tell you the years that I tried to share, you know, nutrition and hydration and the more healthy way with her. And she, what would she say? "Oh, I take my vitamin D and my olive leaf." That was it. And, that's good. But you're missing
But it's more.
89 out of the 90 essential nutrients. So, what about just getting some of those?
Yes.
And she, you know, I don't know why. I don't know if it was the price. I don't know if she found it inconvenient. I don't know um, if she just didn't trust. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But when the rubber met the road, it was too late for her to make that choice. She was in the hands
Yes.
of the system. So you said the word proactive. That's what made me think of that because,
Yes. Proactive. And even coming back again, we want to get the hormonal changes and the weight gain for women 40 and over, and it comes back to proper nutrition, as you mentioned before, even exercise.
mhm,
Was last Saturday or Sunday,
mhm,
on one of your programs, you spoke about movement
mhm,
and gut health.
mm, mhm.
And even women 40 and over, they have to incorporate some kind of movement. What would you say to that, Dr. Lisa, to help
Absolutely.
them in this when they're perimenopause and in menopause itself and postmenopause?
Hmm. Absolutely. And I talk about the principle of flow, and everything has to flow. You want your blood to flow,
Yeah.
your lymph to flow, your intestinal contents to flow, your cerebral spinal fluid. If there's a blockage, there's a problem. And um, the hormones have such an impact in that flow. And I mentioned yo yo dieting, and here's the problem with yo yo dieting. People think, yes, Karen, everything is connected. Oh, thank you, Joanne. It was a great podcast. Thank you. Um, that flow, um, when you when you gain weight, so yo-yo dieting, I'm sure you know, like a yo-yo goes up and down, your weight can go up and down, but usually it goes up and up. It goes up more than it goes down. Um, and so the cumulative gain over the years is a problem But here's the problem with yo-yo dieting, especially around menopause. And when I say around, I mean just before, during, and then after. Is when you lose the weight and then regain it, you don't regain it in the same spots that you lost it
Mm,
because of the hormonal shifts.
yes.
And in order to combat that, motion is one thing that's very, very useful. Definitely the nutrition, definitely all of the things you said, hydration, rest, all of the basic modalities, fresh air, grounding,
Yes.
but
Yes.
the getting your body in motion and getting your gut in motion is so so helpful. It helps your lymph uh, glands. It helps uh, your immune system. It helps your nervous system, your neurotransmitters. There's so much effect on your brain in your gut because of the neurotransmitters, and um, it affects your mood. Just sometimes
Yeah.
that motion will break the cycle, and then you can go on to a more positive situation. It just takes a few step, a few small steps to turn it
Yes.
around. But you need something to break the cycle. And a
Yes.
lot of times it could be motion. For me, it was the nutrients, right? But something
Hmm.
has to give. Something's got to break. And then that lets your mind make a better decision for the next step.
Yes. So we are telling women 14 over the simple things that they could do, you know. The first one is the nutrition. Well, before the nutrition, they have to have a mind shift.
Exactly.
A mind
Exactly.
shift to do because some people know that they should do it, but what is coming up? What is the resistance, you know?
Yeah.
So we have to help them fight the resistance and see the need that if you don't do it now, you're going to suffer later, and it's going to be so expensive, you know. So
So I
we
have
have
a
a few.
challenge. I have a
Yes,
challenge for everyone on the call to go gluten free for 1 week and see how you feel. Now, a lot of people say, I don't have a problem with gluten, right? And yes, there are people that can't even be in the same room with gluten. They have celiac disease, they have allergies, you know, but there's no human being on earth that has the enzymes necessary to process the wheat, barley, rye, and oats that we have in our food supply these days.
mhm,
And um, so I just challenge you, just go. Even if you think gluten's not a problem for you, go 1 week without it and see what happens. Just that one little, well, for some people it's not a
yes,
little change. Some people it's a big change. But protein and produce, just focus on the two P's, protein and produce. Yay, Karen's accepting the challenge. Yes. And um and then we'll take the next little step. But just 1 week
mhm,
at it. 1 week, one little change can make a huge difference.
yes. So we are focusing on a few changes to overcome these challenges. So we're going to go free for 1 week. What about increasing our water intake?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just saying, I'm keeping it to one thing, right?
One thing, yes,
One thing. And yeah, if you want to make it water. And so
yes,
Jones accepting the challenge. Yes, and I love that picture, Joan. So cute. All right. I meant to say that the first time I saw your comment. Uh, but if you want to choose, if you know water's a problem for you, then you want to take your body weight, right? Whatever the number is in pounds, and drink at
Mhm.
least half that number um, in ounces of water. So if you are, Jackie, I got you. I see you. Um, and this is the best, I have to say, this is the best time ever in life to go gluten free because we have so many alternatives. But be careful, right?
Yes.
You got to read labels because a lot of
Yes.
breads that say they're gluten free have a lot of processing, but there are alternatives, right? Just just 1 week, just 1 week, right? We could do just 1 week.
This 1 week. I like
Okay,
that.
Jackie, are you coming? Are you coming? So that's my challenge for
Yes.
action, action, traction, satisfaction. Because your body will thank you. I know it. Now, Coach Judy, maybe you've got a challenge that you're going to give people.
Yeah. A challenge I would love people to do if you're not into the exercise routine, I suggest that something I call exercise snacking.
Oh, I love it.
Bouts, bouts of exercise for just 10 to 15 minutes. Like today,
Mm.
I'll give you a quick example. I was busy. I love my rebounder. So I was on my rebounder for about 12 minutes in the morning and 12 minutes in the afternoon. Being on rebounder, it's like you certain moves on it. It's like you had a 30-minute run, and it does wonders for your lymphatic system. Or just go for a walk. So the challenge I'm telling people, you know, if you sit at your desk all the time, get up and walk for 15 minutes or get a rebounder and jump on it for 10 to 12 minutes.
Mm.
That's 10 to 12 minutes. Or if you tempted to go to your refrigerator for a snack, what Coach Judy said, exercise snacking.
Nice. I like it. And I've got one. I've got an enhancement for that because when I talked about motion, Suzanne, the whip is here. Now, Suzanne is a disciplined, beautiful, amazing, but you would call her a general in the army.
Susan,
So,
right? Yeah.
Suzanne Staples, yes, she's been a missionary. Um, we
Wow.
were in a singing group together, singing around the globe. So, thank you for joining us, Suzanne. And yes, um, I've got something for you as far as movement. I'm going to put it in the chat because
Mhm.
I think, let's see, connect to comment.
And we have about a couple of minutes, Dr. Lisa.
I'm going to, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, we have a
Maybe I
couple of
can't put
minutes.
it.
So yes.
Let's see if I can connect without doing it. Yeah, okay. It's sending me a signal.
Mhm.
Yes, it's me. That's the number. I think I'm signed. Oh boy. All right, now I can put it in. So this is a download that I made for Saturday's uh, webinar. I keep getting messages. Okay, it won't let me post. Oh well.
Okay.
Okay. But Coach Judy, you talk for a minute, and I will see if I can pull up this
Yes.
gift because it's not
I want to
far.
invite, I want, seeing that we have a short, uh, just a few minutes, I want to invite the people on to our webinar that we're going to have on May the 3rd at noon, because we're going to go deeper in this. We only have 1 hour, but the webinar that we're going to have, we're going to really go into detail to help women 40 and over address the issues that we spoke about. We spoke about being overweight, obesity. We spoke a little bit about hormonal issues, but we didn't go into depth. And we want to talk about the hidden killer for women is heart disease. So when Dr. Lisa and I are going to do this webinar, we will take our time to address these three issues or challenges for women 40 and over: heart disease, um, obesity, hormonal issues.
I have a hmm, there we go. I can show you an invitation to the webinar.
Okay, yes.
Can you see my screen? Awesome. My screen did a screen share on StreamYard. Yay.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
So if you scan that QR code over in the corner, um, then that will take you to the registration for the webinar. And I also, I'll find the registration link and I'll put that into the chat. But
Okay,
um, before I go, let's see, I want to share one more thing. Let's try it. I had it, let me see, maybe now. And this is a checklist. This is the gut moves. Hmm, well, I can see it. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm taking. So let me try one more time. So why I could see the other one and not this, I'm not sure. But I will.
okay.
Can you see the link that I put into the chat, Coach Judy?
No, let's see. Yes. No,
Hmm.
I'm not seeing the comments. No,
Okay.
no.
Okay. Well, I will tell you what the link is. So get ready to take some
Okay.
notes. It's Dr. Lisa Singletary. So just spelled just like my name, DrLisaSingletary dot online, ONLINE, slash gut dash moves. So if you want your gut moves, then put go to drlisasingletary.online slash gut dash moves. And what you'll see is a download. All you have to do is click the button. You don't need to put in your email or anything like that. But it's a checklist of things that you can do to get moving daily, weekly, monthly. Just check off a couple things and join us on May 3rd.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Lisa. I know we went over a little, and we want to I thank you so much for coming on the wonderfully whole conversation where we touch on a lot of stuff, and looking forward to do that webinar. And
Awesome.
thanks who are on YouTube. I was checking my Facebook page for some reason. It locked. So I
Mm,
have to figure out why it locked because it was when I checked it before, it was open to the public. So we had a lot of people, quite a number of people on YouTube. We thank you for coming on, and we look forward to seeing you in the webinar.
awesome.
Thank you so much, and have a beautiful evening.
Mwah.
God
Love you.
bless. Love you too.